Check, mic check, 1, 2. Welcome to episode 23 of Casual Mode, your weekly check-in with Carl.
Hello.
And also, Ethan. Hi, Ethan.
Good evening, gents. How are we?
Very, very good. You answered that as a cultured journalist. Hello,
I am a
guys. How are you?
cultured journalist.
I just thought it was very cultured. I thought it was appreciated. I like the little ear, hand to the ear, just to check, you know. Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks. Really
I don't
appreciate
know,
it.
Jeff. Has he?
Before
That's
we
the
dive
extent
in,
of my footy patter for the
No, it's
episode,
not.
by the way. So
No,
I
it's-
hope you enjoyed that.
we covered Liverpool crashing out of Europe last time, so you're out of it. Don't worry.
Are you in it?
Nope. Before we dive in, please check out the website, casualmode.co.uk. Got all the links in there. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube and subscribe and a like. That's all we're asking for. It's very easy, very simple. We're talking about one thing. Oh my god, is that a pint of Guinness? Fucking
You've got a mustache.
I know.
I know.
Got one of them.
I
Got
know.
one of them jobs, mate.
Do you want anything from the shop?
Cornetto.
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 Yeah, I got them Nitro Surge cans. These are Olivia's cans, so thank you. Olivia's cans. These are Olivia's places, so cheers. Christ.
It's amazing.
Oh, he started, so I'll finish. Yeah, we're going to be talking about the Switch 2, and Ethan's our roving reporter. Is it roving or roaming? I think it's roving, isn't it? A roving reporter.
Yeah. Either works.
Either?
For me.
Roaming?
He's not
Roaming.
picky.
He's not picky, he'll be either. Just before we jump into Switch 2, what are you playing, Ethan, at the moment? What are you
I've
partaking
been
in?
playing. I just said Pokemon. I've been playing a Pokemon Y Nuzlocke on Steam Deck. I haven't played X since it originally came out, but I like doing a little Nuzlocke, so I thought I'd give that one a try on their Steam Deck. Runs well.
What's a
It's a little-
Nuzlocke?
It's like the challenge where if you Pokemon, you can only catch the first Pokemon that you encounter in each route, and then if the Pokemon gets knocked out, you basically have to release it or put it in a box, so you can't use it anymore.
Permadeath. Kind of.
Yeah, permadeath, exactly. So it just makes the game harder, but it's quite fun to be fair. But X is like X and Y are supposed to be notoriously easy games, and the gym leaders are relatively straightforward. But there's some trainers in some of the routes. They'll just slap you silly, I tell you. Especially
really?
if you're not like researching, because when you're in a Nuzlocke, you'll like go on Cerebi and look at the routes in advance sometimes, depending on how, if you're trying to manipulate a encounter to get a certain Pokemon or whatever. But there was some fella in one of the routes with a Kadabra, just literally slapped up like 3 of my Pokemon, and
Yeah, the fuck
Yeah.
is the psychic one?
Yeah.
Swore. The
Okay.
psychic ones.
Give
'Cause I
me
think
one.
when you get caught out by that, like it's a very common weakness.
exactly, yeah. But no, good fun. I love the upscaling on the emulator on Steam Deck. I do own the game, so don't sue me. But yeah, I was playing it on the telly as well. You know, you can do the dual thing on the telly, and that works well as well. So good stuff. I was playing Minecraft last night as well, which is really cool. I want to go and watch that new Minecraft movie. Either of you seen that?
Never read it.
Never seen it. Never read it. Yeah.
Where's your dad from again? Oh, where were you born, sorry?
Whoa, what? Ease off on my dad, please. I was born in Germany, Carl. It was a Mein Kampf joke for anyone. don't know if
I
got picked up on
completely went over my head, and I'm
Yeah,
glad it
I
did.
know. It was pretty funny. I thought it was pretty funny. I've not read it. If you were a Pokemon, what Pokemon would you be, Ethan?
Me? I'd like to think of myself as a Dragonite or a...
No.
I guess a Dragonite's quite flamboyant, so I'd like to be a Dragonite, but I'd like to think of myself as a Garchomp or a Charizard, but really I'm probably more of a Mr. Mime or a Smeargle or a...
Togepi?
yeah,
Yeah, soft and supple.
Scrafty.
What would you be?
Pikachu.
Bitch. No, okay. I'd either be I think I'd be a Cramorant because it eats a lot. And it's always like pictured eating.
No, you're Snorlax.
Well, weird you say that because literally the next one on there is like literally me on a
do love
on a
Snorlax.
rager.
I love Snorlax.
I'm very upset. That's cool.
Trying to see if I have any Pokemon cards near within reach, because
Honestly,
there's so much stuff around me that all in a mess.
Can't
I don't
cope
think I
for how many just random cards. So I've just got like graded
I've got that one.
cards.
That's nice.
That's such a good one. You've got that one, haven't you?
Yeah. Not a 10. I think mine's a 9.
Oh shit. Plenty of cards, loads around. Okay, so Carl, what are you playing?
I played a few goes of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
And how did you feel about it?
I've not played enough to comment, really.
Okay.
I got told
You
to
got
put
to
on
the
a
dice?
helmet and some... I saw the dice, but I'm not really interested in those kind of mini-game distractions. I just want to slice up some mofos.
Have you tried it on Steam Deck?
No, I've lent Dan's copy on PS5, and in return,
Right.
I've passed him Dragon Age of Veilguard, which he won't play because he's bigoted.
No, it's not because I'm bigoted. I've just heard it's an average game.
It's a very good game.
What about Avowed,
definitely
gents? Either of you's played that?
not played that yet.
Seems
No.
like a happy medium.
It does. I've been playing a little bit of Atom 4. Spoke about that, which is very
Game Pass?
Sydney. Yeah, it's on Game Pass. And didn't really gel with it. Set in a Lake District. Don't even see a lot about it, but Fallout, but in a Lake District.
The Fallout Britishy one, yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
a bit lacking. Like even like Fallout can be a bit like vapid at times, but this is like crap. So,
That's a shame.
it is a shame. It's a shame. Any other
Seen
games
that
recently?
Fallout London mod?
Yes.
Maybe that one's a bit
We
more
were
up,
talking
your,
about that.
up your alley.
Yeah, I do think I need to try that. What is it a mod of? Is it 3 or 4?
4, I think.
Is it 4? Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Might need to give that a go. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Switch 2, but before we do that, Ethan, I saw you've got a little. You shared a little thing on Twitter before. A little article.
Yeah, I can't even remember what I shared. Can you remind me?
It was 003 of Lock On. I think you shared your.
Oh, this was from
Zelda
ages
piece.
ago, mate.
Yeah. No, I saw that before, and I was just like, oh.
Yeah, what have I
That's
retweeted? I saw you retweeted that, but I haven't.
It came
like-
up on my feed, and I just retweeted it. So I'd assumed
Oh, I
either
dunno.
somebody's liked it or 'cause
Yeah,
It
maybe.
came up in my like
Yeah,
following
yeah.
one.
Yeah, that was from. I saw that you'd retweeted that, and I was buzzing, but I just thought you'd gone on because I think it's my pinned tweet. So I think you, I thought you'd gone onto my profile and been like, yeah, I'm gonna mentally, I'm
It's
gonna
make him
mentally
think I'm
try and
haunting
get into
him.
his head a bit before tonight's recording.
just flexing on you.
But yeah, that was a lovely little article that I wrote, if I do say so, for Lock On. It came out the day before. Oh, it didn't come out the day before, but it came out slightly before Tears of the Kingdom release. But it was basically an idea of, you know, that thing about. It's kind of as we were waiting for about 3 hours for you to join the call, me and Carl were talking about.
I've got kids.
Yeah. We were talking about AI stuff and like the doom of humanity and stuff like that. And you
Carl
heard
being a harbinger of doom.
you heard about the that Shinrin Yoku thing, that forest bathing idea, where
Oh, yeah.
you go and get like you go into a forest and you see the fractals and you get like a you refresh, and it's kind of that idea of like Japan. They have those like perfectly kept temples and like forest walks, but then they also have like the most built up modern cities in the world at the same time, and it's kind of like that cold shower effect of like resetting your brain and connecting with nature type thing. So it was kind of like an idea of whether you could simulate that within a game.
So we had I don't know if you saw the print fair in Liverpool, you know, in the blue coat. Did you go to it? No. So there was a Japanese artist. He's not Japanese. His name's Jonathan Edwards, which is most like Welsh name ever. But he was like, he did this print,
Oh, nice.
and it's like a sushi kind of place.
That's stunning.
And I was like talking to him about Japan because I've never been. I was just saying, you know, what's your advice? And he went, literally everything's within 20 minutes of each other. He said, such a small island, like you can go from having that like serenity to the hustle and bustle of like a city relatively easy. And he said with the trains as well, it's just outrageously simple to get from one place to the other.
Yeah.
We should go to Japan. That should be the thing.
I'd love to go to Japan. I think it's just like I was thinking to myself, I want to go on I want to go for a big holiday, and was like saving for a nice big holiday, and I was deciding between going to Japan or going to New Zealand to go to Hobbiton.
I do want to go to Hobbiton. The guy who does this as well, Safely Endangered, which has cut his name off on this print, which has annoyed me a little bit. It's my fault because I did the thing. Do you recognise like the art style? He's like huge on Instagram.
It looks
so,
like the "This Is Fine" dog thing.
Yeah,
It does.
I don't know if it's the same guy actually, but it's he's got like 1.2 million followers, and he's a Scouser, and he was just at the
nice.
print fair, and I was just like talking to him, going, "I'm pretty sure I follow you on Instagram." He's like,
You shouldn't be here. You've got
I was
1.2
like-
million followers.
"Yeah, it was the little old lady that hunched over, looking at the prints, going, oh, that's a nice little dog." So it's like, how are you? Oh, little cow. How are you here? You know, in terms of like this, and he was just like, it's just in the home city, and wanted to come home for a while, live in London. So he kind of did that.
Oh, nice.
But, Ethan, are you going to buy a Nintendo Switch 2 based on everything that you've seen before we jump into the conversation?
I am. I've got my pre-order today, actually. So
Hey,
I kind of.
You have to scramble for that a bit, didn't you?
Yeah, it was my own fault as well. Like, I don't really know. Oh, that's nice. Is that an effect? That's
AI,
lovely.
innit?
Yeah.
Gonna work?
Yeah, I kind of like when it was announced. There's obviously this whole thing with the Nintendo loyalty pre-order thing, and then I usually just ordered. I usually order all stuff through Amazon. So I basically just relied on Amazon, and then before I knew it, I'd seen like Smith's orders go out of stock, or Argos orders go out of stock, EE went out of stock, and then
Shop 2 went.
Yeah, Shop 2 went, and then I was kind of thinking, wait, I've kind of probably should have just locked one in early, really. But then luckily, I had to send an invitation for the Amazon thing.
Which was stupid. And then they ditched that today, or did
I
people
don't
get
know,
through it?
I don't know anyone who got one from that.
No.
I haven't seen anyone who got one from that, and then luckily I just periodically was checking, set my alerts on for IGN UK deals, which shout out to that Twitter account, because that's an incredible account. And then just locked one in. So yeah,
Guy who runs that's absolutely legend as well. Because
yeah.
stuff
He replies to everyone as well, like it's class. But luckily the payment didn't come out for my instantly for the Switch 2 because
good.
I don't have the money to pay for it. So I have to get some little pennies saved before June, because otherwise that when the pre-order gets released, if the payment bounces, and then I'll be back to square one again. So we'll see what happens. But
did you Carl, did you sort yours?
I've got two technically on order, so I've got the original one.
Your microphone's quiet. Is it working?
You just told me it was. You told me it was loud.
No, I was saying tap it to make sure it's working. There we go, it's working. Sorry, everybody.
Bloody Nora.
Amateur.
So I got the one that we originally ordered. Was that Smith's?
Shop 2.
Shop 2. So I did that one, and then they said, no, we're going to put you on back order. And then I got a Hot UK Deals alert via JD Williams. I had to pay an extra $5 for delivery, but I've got that sorted. So
what's JD Williams?
I don't know, but I've got it ordered. So
I remember. Now that I have my pre-order locked in, I can kind of gloat slightly about when it'll arrive, because I remember when the Switch 1 came out, one of my friends had it on Very, and it didn't turn up on launch day. So if I was a betting man, I would say that Smith's orders won't arrive on day one, and I would say that I don't have a massive amount of faith in Argos orders to arrive day one. It used to be the case with Currys, but Currys have been pretty good recently. But listen, we've all got one. It seemed like the people who wanted one have largely managed to get one. So
yeah, feels like that.
Yeah, I was worried about, like, after the initial round of pre-orders, I started to get worried as well because of the whole tariff thing, which I don't know whether we'll get onto that, but I don't know. I was wondering whether, like, American people would try and secure the UK orders as well.
Around.
But then I don't know what the customs situation would look like on that.
I think it would be a nightmare.
Well, if they ordered it via the UK, then they'd just pay an extra 10%, wouldn't they? If they ordered it from the EU, I think the tariffs on the EU are higher. The UK is only 10% for exports.
Would it be the same for something you purchased and that is just delivered to you? The tariff?
I guess so, because you'd be exporting it from the UK and importing it to America, wouldn't you? It'd just be like buying anything from somebody in the UK.
Interesting.
So if an American person wants these tariffs come in,
by the way, don't say his name.
Yeah, we got
really?
blocked. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Politicised.
I don't even know what his
YouTubing
name is anyway, to be honest. But that is crazy.
Big Orange What's It?
Yeah. Yeah, like if I order something from Europe and have it delivered to America, there'd be like a fat charge on it.
I mean,
Not
there
for
normally
you
is
though.
anyway.
It would. So if you were exported to America, you wouldn't pay anything.
No, you
it's
pick
the
it up.
Americans purchasing it from you who'd pay the tariff. So it disincentivizes them from buying from Europe.
So
Yeah.
what is a bit disappointing?
part
So
of
obviously, sorry, Carl. The game in town is shutting, and then moving into like the new Sports Direct. So I've got like a 20% off sale at the moment, and we had a little browse before, but didn't particularly seem anything interesting. I remember walking. Pre-ordered it to store, which is what I did with the PS5 as well, like the original one. Didn't do it with the PS5 Pro. But I remember going into the game and picking up both of those consoles and like walking out with them. Like nothing will ever beat that feeling of like getting a massive massive game bag, like a pink or black one, and like basically that out of fear walking down the street and seeing a load of other people like queuing up for it and chatting to them, or like I don't know, just felt really nostalgic for that.
I'd kind of think that is dead anyway, though. Like,
yeah, it is.
The last midnight launch that I remember being an actual like massive thing, it was Fallout 4, because everyone got the Vault Boy masks. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
But I went to the Scarlet and Violet midnight launch at that game because I lived like 5 minutes down the road. So I was like, I'm gonna walk.
I
to the
think
shop
I
and buy
did
it.
something similar like that for that.
And
one.
like
I can't
no
remember.
one spoke to me at all there. Like, and yeah, I did look threatening, but no one spoke.
Were you in
And
your
they were
dog
under the age
season?
of 10.
Yeah, no one's like dancing around enjoying themselves. You know what I mean? Everyone's just waiting to get home and play their 5 FPS Pokemon game. And when I got to the front as well, I pre-ordered it from there so I could get like this little figurine of the starters. And she went, "We're all out." What do you mean you're all out?
Yeah.
Like,
Then
what
you
do you
kicked
mean
off.
you're all out? But I did go to they had a midnight launch for the Sun and Moon TCG like base set.
Okay.
I went to that as well. I was actually on a night out, like half cut, and then I was like, oh yeah, I saw a thing on like Twitter or something that they were doing it, and I was like, I'm gonna go and buy a pack, and I ended up getting a holographic Solgaleo or Solgaleo or whatever. So
Okay, so
Good
jokes
memory.
on them.
yeah, jokes on you.
Solid man. I remember going for Final Fantasy 12. I think it was 12. No, it wasn't. It was Final Fantasy 13, and that was a terrible game. The midnight launch for that. Go on, Carl.
I went to one midnight launch, and it was when I spent 2 months in the States.
Was it
when
for
I-
Rude?
No.
It was
That's
a joke.
that's
It
a
was
2 a.m.
joke.
job. That's a 2 a.m. job. I was in America for 2 months after GCSEs, and midnight launch of Madden 7, I think it was. So we walked in the pitch black of the night all the way to like a shopping mall. Took like an hour. Bought it. Came back at 1 a.m. and played it until like 9 a.m. Then fell
That's
asleep,
cool.
Yeah, good games.
drowning in Mountain Dew Code Red.
Of course, the thing about midnight launches now is you're at a disadvantage anyway because you can preload the game if you download it ready.
Yeah.
Whereas you go to midnight launch, you go, come on, let's get back and play the game. You go back, and then you've got to sit there for like 3 hours while it installs. So
Same thing.
most of the time you don't even end up playing it on the night anyway.
Thank you were there.
So, before we get into some of the parts of the Switch 2 then, so the first kind of jump out was the price of the games, I think was something that started to drip out as the announcements were there. So, I think when we were doing the old podcast, the consensus was, and the conversation that we used to have, is that there is an expectation for games to become more expensive anyway as they grow and as they get bigger and as they get longer. Pardon. But even then, some of the like look at like Red Dead 2 or Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. I think massive open world game, hundreds of hours of solid gold content and AAA content. To pay the same price for that as what you would for, I don't know, like something that's only 20 hours and curated and maybe like a bit more of a glossier experience, like it just doesn't make sense. So I can see games getting more expensive over time. However, like cost of one of these games, like 70, 80 quid.
75 for Mario Kart World physical copy, I don't know what the digital's like. It's not on Nintendo UK Store yet. I saw a BBC article saying it was going to be $66.99 for digital, but I think the digital and physical will be the same price because in the past, it's always been the same for digital and physical, and I don't know whether that's to do with like appeasing retailers maybe or whatever. But
Because you said digital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This week on Sky Digital.
Digital.
I'm just
digital.
45% of my brain is just focused on not swearing, so
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard.
It's really hard.
But I mean, it's not hard at all. But the fact that I know I can't makes me want to do it.
You make me want to do it. Yeah. It's yeah. I mean, Carl, from your side, you were more of a Steam player, I would say. And the cost of games on Steam is like astronomically cheap compared to any other platform.
Yeah. PC games, isn't it?
Does it put you off playing the next Mario Kart?
I've already got it, so no.
Okay.
It came in the bundle. I do think it's steep. It does look like a much improved version of Mario Kart compared to the same game that I bought, I think, for Wii U, which then they made the deluxe version on Switch, but everything's going up in price, so there's an element of it's fair. Like inflation. It's was it in the UK 20% over the past 5 years or something? Inflation's been so. It's not ridiculous in a lot of ways. If only wages were going up the same way. We're getting political again.
Don't say the name. Yeah, I mean, there's that, and then I thought Donkey Kong was more expensive as well. Remember rightly?
I'll have a look for you because it's on the Nintendo UK store at the moment. You can pre-order everything except the Switch 2.
Did you see that they've got the you can buy like the they called it like the key games where you buy the physical device, but then
The cart.
Digital game key,
yeah.
Physical copy of Donkey Kong Bonanza is $66.99.
Okay.
So not as much as Mario Kart. So I don't know what.
So it's the other way around.
Yeah. Which, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know why. Like, I have no problem with people complaining about how expensive it is because all that's going to do is potentially get them to reduce the price. But as far as I'm concerned, like, I don't know. Like, I don't really have an issue with the console price based on the specs and stuff like that. And I don't have. Ideally, I don't want to be paying more for games, but at the end of the day, I spent 200 hours in Breath of the Wild, and I think it's probably worth 70 quid or whatever it is, because if I go to the cinemas to watch Minecraft or whatever, you get the tickets, you get your popcorn and all that, you get 2 hours of entertainment, and you probably spend 50 odd quid anyway. So when you think about the time versus like what you get out of it, like, I would happily pay that amount of money, but then I don't know why I'm saying that, because there's no reason for me to say it. Like, there's no reason for me to give them that idea. Like, I'd gladly pay less money as well, but I don't know.
For every Breath of the Wild, though, there's a Prince of Persia that you pay.
Yeah, but I don't think that Prince of Persia will be charged at that level, though. I think the £75 will be reserved for your new Zeldas and your. Exactly. Like, I mean, look at Donkey Kong Bonanza. In theory, Donkey Kong Bonanza is a tentpole release alongside Super Mario World, but the price of that is cheaper. So, I think there's been a big debate about them charging $100 for GTA 6, and like, if they do that, I think Rockstar knows that if they do that, there'll be a massive backlash to it. But like,
still buy it.
Think about how many hours people have put into GTA 5 for over 10 years. Like,
it's crazy.
And then the other side of it as well is like, well, if Mario Kart World was £40, $39.99, and then the incrementally released DLC every year, for what's the longevity of Mario Kart 8 on Switch was 8 years at this point. If they release DLC yearly, probably end up spending 250 quid on it anyway over time. So it's one of them, innit? Like, obviously I don't like things to cost more money, but I don't have the level of outrage that other people do, because I know how much I'd spend on other forms of entertainment, like going to the cinemas or things like that, and I often pay more for those things and I spend far less time enjoying them. So
that's true.
I think when you look at the flagship games, So I remember seeing a stat, and it was something like 30% of people that buy or pre-order FIFA pay for the ultimate version, which is like 100 quid. I'm thinking like that sold millions of copies, and if 30% represents 4 or 5 million people paying £100, that's obscene. Like in terms of the actual overall earnings and where that kind of
how
sits.
crap that game is.
Well, yeah, how bugged it is. But then, from an Ultimate Team perspective, like the opportunity to get more packs and like the gambling aspect, that's a whole different kettle of fish. But let's jump kind of back a bit and say, well, the original, well, the actual cost of the Switch 2 is $395.99 on its own. So that's what you're getting. And then, what did we see today for the OLED? Still retailing at 300 and... How much was it?
Is it 390?
Yeah.
The Steam Deck OLED?
What's normal
No,
Switch
sorry,
OLED?
the Switch OLED.
Switch OLED's 300 on Argos. You can get it for 250 quid on Amazon.
Yeah.
And then the original came out for about 300 quid. didn't it?
I think I paid 280 for my original Switch, but that was
There you
obviously
go.
without anything.
So a couple of years have gone by. A heap of additional benefits that we'll get into in a second and upgrades, and it's gone up by £100. So then you can bundle in the game Mario Kart for £429.99, which is a good saving.
It's £41 cheaper to get. This is a question for you guys. Like, I would much rather have my games as physical copies. Like, I'll buy all my games physical normally
100%.
on Switch at least. Like, I've stopped doing it with like, I bought like Fallout, like I think Fallout 76. I bought that physical, and it was just the coding box and stuff like that. But so I don't really buy, but all Nintendo games I buy them physically. Not least of which because they're the same price, so why wouldn't I? But like, and so I'd much rather have the physical edition, but it's literally £41 cheaper to buy the bundle than to buy the console with the game. And like, I think the attach rate of that game at launch is going to be like at like 95%. Like,
It wasn't Zelda like that. I remember
well,
that being like...
at one point in Breath of the Wild, the attach rate actually outweighed. I think it's like 2-1. Like, more people had bought the game than the actual, because loads of people bought that collector's edition with the Master Sword thing. So, so that leads me to believe like, surely the majority of people that are buying the base console are only doing it because they can't get the bundle, and then the only other people that are doing that are like the Does It players of the world. Have you seen those guys on Twitter? Like, great account, but I think I put a tweet. It was like, who's going to buy? Like, who's buying the physical copy because it's so much cheaper to get the digital? And they were like, well, obviously they want like the physical game on disc, which is a fair point. But like, if for 41 quid, like, I can't justify that personally.
I think like as well, that game, no one's going to trade that in. Everyone's going to keep that game. No one's going to trade it in.
You can't really trade in anymore. There's only CEX that you can trade in with, or you can sell it, I guess. If you want to sell it on like Facebook Marketplace or eBay, but trading in.
Why couldn't you trade it in a CEX?
I know you can. Sorry, but what I'm saying is like it's closed market. In terms of where you trade in it.
Yeah, but it retains its value in CEX. Switch games are still expensive to buy in CEX.
Yeah, I think will the same be said for Switch 2 though, going forward?
I can't see even Wii U games, like first party Wii U games at least, retain their value. So it's the age old story of going into a game shop 15 years after New Super Mario Brothers Wii came out, the one with the red box on the Wii, and it's still 45 quid. So I can't see any games going down in price. Like, but one good thing though that we didn't know for sure or not, because there was like misreporting on it, was like the Switch 2 versions of a Metroid Prime. I'm not sure about Metroid Prime actually, but the Switch 2 versions of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom that are on physical cartridges, they have the upgrade stuff on the cart as well, which is good.
Right.
Because initially people thought it's just the Switch 1 game and then you get the download stuff added on. But I'm pretty sure everything's included on the cart, which is cool. If you don't, Cyberpunk as well, I think. Yeah.
CD Projekt Red, they've got everything onto it, haven't they? Every DLC onto a cart, which is insane.
Yeah.
Okay.
CD Projekt Red are different. Like, that was a good point actually, because I got the physical copy of Cyberpunk on PC, all on disc, stickers, postcards, everything included. Like, CD Projekt Red, they include the maps and stuff like that. It's like that. It's like when
did
you
that
open
with
the
The Witcher.
Skyrim. It's like when you open the Skyrim box and it has like the full map of Skyrim in it and stuff like that. Like they still have that like big box PC release mentality, don't they? Which you've got to respect.
Which not many people do. In fact, I can't think of anyone else that does it aside from like the super rare games or those kind of releases.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly, yeah.
because that's their MO of what they do.
Yeah.
So kind of like backtracking a bit now. So the console itself, we got some confirmed specs for it, which is pretty good. And we finally found out what that fucking button does. That's what the C button does.
What does the C stand for?
So it's bigger. I don't know if you guys have seen the people, like quite a few people have been hands-on. Xeon over at Nintendo Life did a good little video of it in terms of like the comparison, which is quite cool. It's noticeably bigger, and it's about the same size as the Steam Deck. I think it's a little bit bigger. Weight, they've kind of said it feels hefty, which is good. It doesn't feel not premium, which is nice. Touchscreen again, which never really used on the original Switch, but it's still on there. 1920 by 1080, HDR10 support, VRR up to 120 hertz. Processors made by NVIDIA, 256 gigabyte storage, 2 USB-C ports, one on top, one on the bottom, which is fantastic. Battery life is there or thereabouts, basically what the Switch was, but like, yeah, not ideal compared to what you look at other handhelds now. Charging time's approximately 3 hours, which I thought was quite long as well. I guess from 0 to 100, yeah. But stereo speakers, built-in microphone. You've got the accelerometer, gyroscope, mouse sensor in the Joy-Con 2 controllers, and a brightness sensor in the console. Touching on that then, so are you sold by the Joy-Con? I know it was kind of mooted for a while that they were going to be these mice kind of peripherals, but are we sold on that? Do we think it's useful based on what we saw on the Direct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I mean, for example, they've got Civ on there. So Civ 7, is it? Just come out. So, so
7?
rather than having to use like a console version of it, you can use a mouse. I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. I've seen a bigger screen as well.
I saw the kind of funny like demo thoughts on Metroid Prime, and
Yeah.
I think what they were saying about it and that was that you can switch on the fly between controller and mouse. It's not like a setting, you can just turn it and it just does it straight away, and it's dead precise and stuff like that. I don't really care about the mouse thing, to be honest. I doubt I'm going to use it much, but yeah, like every other aspect of the console is just what we all expected and what they kind of needed to do, which is just an upgrade. But like, I guess they kind of want to have like the gimmick, or not gimmick, but like the unique element. So they've kind of people are saying that they've leaned into the social element stuff, and then also this mouse control. But it's like an additional functionality of the controller that it seems to work really well, and it's not just there for the sake of it. Like a lot of people that have demoed Metroid Prime, for instance, are saying that it's like a really definitive way to play the game. But it'd be interesting how your brain will get used to the sort of not mouse and keyboard control, like mouse and controller control at the same time. It's weird, isn't it? But I don't know if you can compare it to like the touch pads on Steam Deck, for instance, where it's like cursor-esque. I don't know if that's like how your brain would have to get around it in the same way that you got used to that, maybe. But I'm excited to give it a try. But yeah,
the form factor of I remember the first time I played one was on the train to EGX. It was yours, Ethan, and like I had feeling how that worked, and I was like sold immediately. I was like, right, that really makes sense. If the form factor was slightly, I'm not great at kind of envisaging how it should look or feel, but if the form factor was slightly different on Steam Deck for like the next version, I'd be really happy, especially if it was a tiny bit lighter. But
yeah.
Outputs, so you've got your HDMI connector and TV mode. That goes to a maximum of 380 times 2160, which is 4K resolution at 60 FPS. That's on TV mode. It supports 120 FPS when 1920 by 1080 or 2560 by 1440 are selected. Supports HDR10, max 1920 and by 1080 resolution in tabletop and handheld modes, which we knew anyway. Audio output 5.1 output via HDMI. So it kind of hits all the beats that it needed to. The C button, do you want to have a go at trying to explain that in terms of what it actually does and how it works? So that's their new, I don't think it's the USP, but so they've reinvented voice chat.
Yeah, it's It's interesting. I mean, I hadn't really thought about it in this way, but I've seen a couple of videos on it with people saying they're kind of leaning into the social element that sold a lot of copies of like Animal Crossing, for instance, during lockdown.
Yeah.
And like I can see it being a really fun way. Like if we entered another pandemic and people actually listened to government recommendations this time around, that would be a really cool feature, I guess. I just think the social aspect, like in terms of sharing game captures and things like that, I think that will come in handy for everyone. In terms of the chat stuff, I guess we'll use it for a laugh on like Mario Kart to begin with.
Yeah.
I liked the way that they showed how choppy the shared gameplay was, because it's definitely going to be like that, if not worse. It's going to be like what my video feed currently looks like on this call. But
You look like a disjointed Yao Felix at the moment. It's fine.
So, yeah. But I think the social stuff, it's kind of missing something for me. Like, where's the feed to share? Like, there's no, like, feed or, like...
That's what I thought it was going to be.
Place to share. Yeah, like, obviously they're doing this whole thing with Nintendo today to sort of forego having to be on the cesspit that is Twitter. And where's their, like, Miiverse equivalent?
That's
where
exactly
you can share screenshots on, like, you switch screenshots directly to, like, Nintendo Today, for instance. Maybe that will come in a couple of years or whatever.
It may happen, but the amount of excitement, and I get we're in an echo chamber of friends and stuff, but even the excitement you guys had over like Street Pass working and like having that as like a feature within it, I really thought it was going to be like a carnival button, or it's going to be something something social. To what you were saying, that was a little bit different, not just a benign kind of voice chat thing.
I kind of think those sharing to Twitter or X is unlikely at the minute, because Nintendo probably a bit miffed with Elon with his contributions to the US government.
Yeah.
I
hadn't even thought about that, but they've removed the option to share directly to X already from Switch anyway, haven't they? So you have to send to your smartphone now. So it'll probably be the same situation with that. But that's what I mean. Like, why wouldn't they have their own feed that you can?
Yeah.
Like, so you know how you can go into your
feed.
friends list now, can't you, and look at what games they've been playing recently and stuff on Switch. So why not just like an enhanced version of that where it shows like screenshots they've taken or things like that? That'd be cool.
I think the console.
Buy the camera.
I bought the camera.
Have you got it?
Yeah. The
Piranha Plant one came up on like Shop
Nice.
2 again.
Nice.
So as I was just pre-ordering it, said, "Would you want this as well?" I was like,
Just
Yeah.
one.
"Then, yeah." So.
The Piranha Plant one's so much cooler than the official one. I think the quality of it's like 480p though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not great. I think, but then I got my fond memories of like the Game Boy camera.
Yeah.
I still like boot up now and again just to see the photos of like my dog that I had on there, because we didn't have like, aside from a couple of Polaroids and stuff, but like it literally is the only photo I've got of Coco was his name. So yeah, I don't know. Like it's
That's nice.
silly, but the only thing I'm not worried about, but the Switch is perfect for the kids to play on, because it's completely safe. It's very, very difficult for anyone to contact you on it, if not nigh on impossible, unless you've got like the Nintendo app and you know how to use it. Whereas this, I know it's probably going to have like some sort of safeguarding around it and how it works and ability to lock it from a parental perspective like the PlayStation does. But I kind of liked like the out the box safety element of like Nintendo consoles prior to this. So I mean, it's not a deal breaker because I've already pre-ordered one, but to that point, I'm just hoping it's got some sort of sensibilities around it that make it quite difficult to.
I can't see that being an issue. I'm surprised. Like, the only reason that I don't think they've been more clear with that is just for people tuning out because it doesn't apply to them. But like with the parental control thing, I think in order to share videos with each other, I think 100% you'll have to be friends with them. I don't think it won't be a thing where like you can go on Mario Kart online and start streaming with everyone. And then even then, I wouldn't be surprised if there was like some sort of like really obtuse two-factor authentication thing where if your child presses C to share video, it then sends a notification to your parental controls app. You have to prove it, and then some sort of horrific system like that, because they're always like really strict with stuff like that, aren't they? So But
Hope
that was what's a little bit surprising. Like, I thought the presentation was amazing, but there's a couple of things here and there that just weren't clear. You don't reckon? Like,
Yeah, I
only
think so.
little things here and there, but maybe I think that's just, like you say, because we're in the echo chamber, we want to know, like, the intricacies of everything, but there's a couple of little things here and there that are still up in the air.
I think to your point though, like they're playing to the audience of like early adopters, and they're probably not wanting to show too many specifics because they need to keep it like fast paced, keep people engaged. It's a pretty long presentation for Nintendo. Like usually they prefer the half an hour kind of slots, but this was a bit longer than that. So, what do we think of like the form factor of it? It's relatively straightforward. It doesn't like I don't know bust anyone's balls. It seems pretty fine. I like the color scheme. I like the colorway. I like the little color accents on the two Joy-Con.
I'm not a massive fan of that.
Are you not? I don't mind that.
I think it looks like a third-party controller.
I like to think it looks like a salary man in Japan with really fancy socks on.
Yeah. Did you see in the presentation the I can't remember the names, so apologies, but the three
They were wearing the colour.
guys that were wearing the colours of the Switch. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, I think I can't imagine I've seen videos of it, and the only part I had like trepidation over was how the magnets work on the Joy-Con, but they seem to be pretty sturdy.
Reviewers are happy with them.
Yeah. Quite a few people have said, you know what, this works.
Yeah.
Wear and tear on those after time is going to be the thing that most people kind of look towards, and yeah, that's the I think the only once bitten twice shy. I think from what happened with the Switch.
There's going to be a. Do you remember when I can't remember which iPhone it was, but when maybe the iPhone
Bend.
6 came out, the bend thing.
Yeah.
I think there'll be something like that with like.
Oh no,
kids,
you'll have an idiot fucking
a
trying to
kid
bend this
ripping it
within a
out of the
day.
socket or something. Yeah.
Going like, oh look, it bends really easily. Yeah, okay, mate.
But it's in theory, it's more intuitive than because remember the Switch kids putting the Joy-Cons on the wrong way round with the plus and minus signs. You can't get that wrong. I don't think so.
No, it's going to be interesting. I think aside from that, the parts that I kind of want to cover off on. So, spoke about battery life, controllers, talked about the screen, storage, game library. I know we kind of touched on it. The new Pro controller didn't. I mean, it is what it is. It's not groundbreaking again, but then the first Pro controller wasn't, and that's probably still at least alongside the DualSense for me in terms of best like controllers that you can get out there, or premium controllers you can get out there. One, it's cheaper than any other premium controller, and two, outlasts any other controller by days in terms of battery life. It's fantastic. In terms of the notable games that we got at launch, so we know that Mario Kart World, Tears of the Kingdom's had an update. My only gripe I'd say, I don't know if you guys disagree, but when people are showing like the side-by-side footage of like the two videos of like the previous version, or like let's say the Switch version, Switch 2 version, I struggle. I don't know. I just whether it's my attention span or whatever else, but I really struggle to see the difference between the two.
Yeah, I can't.
I think the games run like crap on the first one.
Oh, can you definitely see it? Okay.
I couldn't see the difference visually in the comparison footage, but obviously, like the video is like 1080p, or you're watching it on your phone or whatever it is. So, the only thing I could tell clearly the difference on was they made a point of showing the Kokiri. Is it the? I can't remember the forest name. Kokiri Forest or whatever. I can't remember what the name of the forest is, but that bit was like noticeably has slowed down in the Switch version, whereas on the Switch Pro, obviously it was seamless. So I'm just really looking forward to jumping back in 4K on the telly. I think that's going to be really good. And it's if you've got an expansion pack as well, expansion pass, the upgrade's free. So day one, you can jump straight in. In theory, if you bought nothing except the console, you can jump in day one and play both those games with all the upgrades. So that's really cool.
So yeah, that's go on, Carl.
I'm just saying, I'm watching the side by side video now. It's like buttery smooth on the Switch too.
Okay, fine. I will always defer to
performance wise, but visually, can you tell?
Yeah, you can. Genuinely, you can tell. I'll send you a link.
Is that just refresh rate though? Is it, or are we?
So I mean, it looks a bit more vivid. The resolution looks higher, which makes sense because the device itself is a higher resolution than 720p. What they could do is they could show you the Switch original version in non-docked mode, where it's got it renders it in lower resolution compared to when it's in dock mode, because it makes sense because obviously it's in HD.
Okay. So other games, Cyberpunk 2077, we said launch day, Hogwarts Legacy, upcoming titles, Donkey Kong Bonanza, July 17th, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which switched to edition, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, which is obviously the highly anticipated sequel, Hades 2, which is already out, isn't it, on beta. You've got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, which is the remastered versions of those, which should be great.
Bam Margera and that guys as well, apparently.
Apparently, yeah, he got put back in it. I saw that. Yeah, interesting. GameCube Library, does that launch with the Switch 2, or is that out now?
Believe it launches with the Switch 2. It's exclusive to Switch 2, yeah, so I guess it's I'm pretty sure it's launched there. I'm not 100% sure.
So Wind Waker, F-Zero GX, Soul Calibur 2, more to follow.
Yeah.
And then you've got Elden Ring Tarnished Edition, which is everything, I believe. Street Fighter 6, Years 1 and 2. And Star Wars Outlaws as well.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Not bad, really. Like, considering what the launch titles for the Switch were, I think I was playing, like, Shovel Knight for 2.5 weeks.
Breath of the Wild was a killer app, wasn't it?
Breath of the Wild was the one.
Yeah.
I mean, that kept everyone entertained, I think, for months. So yeah, I mean, by and large, I think 8 out of 10 in terms of what the director was there to do. I'm stupidly excited for it. I'm still really, really happy with the console and the idea of it.
What's the 2 out of 10 that was missing?
I think more of a killer app day one. Because, like, again, you go from Breath of the Wild with the last Switch to Mario Kart.
I think that's it's one of them, isn't it? Like, because Metroid Prime looks amazing, and I'm gonna play it, but it's not that it was in a killer app for me because I don't really have an attachment to Metroid Prime.
It's that serious.
So, but Mario Kart, it's been 13 years since the last Mario Kart we've had. It's like I'm locked in, ready to go on that one. I'm really looking forward to it. But as much, I'm looking forward to just jumping back into Tears of the Kingdom as well. So
I think that it will be very easy to think that the step down from the Switch OLED to the Switch 2 having an LCD screen, it'd be very easy to look at that and just go, oh, that's a bit annoying, which I initially did. But the fact it's 120 hertz, I think, like, even games from, like, the Switch now that we're gonna replay on the Switch 2, they're gonna look amazing. They're gonna be buttery smooth. The colors are gonna be fantastic. I'm really excited. I think the screen actually is gonna be super.
Yeah. People are raving about the screen as well.
Yeah, I didn't upgrade. I didn't get an OLED, so I'm not gonna have that, like, initial. I'm not gonna have to get used to not having an OLED again. So I'm guessing I'm a bit lucky in that regard. But yeah, I've seen, like, that Tim Gettys from Kind of Funny was a big thing about the OLED, and he was saying, like, you're surprised by how good the screen is. So, like you say, I think it'll be fine. But I think I'm probably going to predominantly play this on the telly anyway. To be honest, I want to use the 4K stuff to begin with. So.
See those games in 4K and remastered versions of them, or updated versions of them in 4K is going to be stellar. So I'm very excited for it. The only other counter I'd say is, or question I've got for both of you. So we got Breath of the Wild day one on 3rd of March 2017. Then of the October of that year, we got Super Mario Odyssey on the 27th. What game are you hoping follows rather sharpish, or what franchise rather are you hoping follows rather sharpish on from the release? Let's say December, November.
Go on, Ethan.
What'd you say?
I said go on, Ethan.
Go on, Ethan.
Honestly, I mean, I think for me, my 3 pillars for Nintendo is Mario, Zelda, and Pokemon. So I think I'm eating pretty well. Like, I'm happy.
ZA's due.
Yeah, and ZA, like, ZA is
looking like it's going to be.
It looks okay, like, it looks good, but I wasn't excited for it in the slightest because of how poorly Scarlet and Violet performs. I thought the way Scarlet and Violet's performance on Switch was a disgrace. So I think that, like, I don't actually, because there's a bunch of Switch games that are getting free upgrades as well, like Super Mario Brothers Wonder. I don't know if Scarlet and Violet's on that list, but ZA having upgrade for Switch 2 day one means that I'm actually really excited to play that game as well, because I know it's not going to run like absolute dog water. So really, really looking forward to that one. I guess the one that a lot of people were thinking was a new 3D Mario game, but given that Donkey Kong Bonanza's out, I don't actually know who the developer is on that. I don't know whether it's the Super Mario Bros. Wonder developer or not, but given that's coming out, I don't know how far along that is. Other than that, maybe another Zelda game, like a Ocarina of Time remake that's been rumoured or something like that, maybe. But again, I'm not in a massive rush for that because I've got these upgraded versions of the two Switch releases. So
Just trying to find who the developer is.
I don't know if it's been actually like revealed or not.
It has actually. Banjo-Kazooie. Carl's hit that time of the night where he just goes full on autistic and just decides to share random games. Like, franchises that aren't owned by Nintendo anymore. Love it.
How good would that be?
It doesn't actually say.
Isn't Banjo-Kazooie on NSO, or am I wrong there?
I want to say it is.
That game.
Yeah, it doesn't say actually. You're right. It says
Yeah, it's on
Production
Nintendo
Channel.
Switch Online.
Carl, how about you? 6 months after, or let's say not even that, 3-4 months after. What game are you hoping, and what franchise are you hoping?
Like a proper high res remake of Ocarina of Time. Can I have that?
Yeah, of course you can.
Thanks, mate.
Absolutely.
I feel like that might be. This is a different conversation for another time, I guess. But I feel like that might be the game that comes out alongside like the Zelda movie.
Yeah, good point.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, potentially. It depends on what the film's based on. But yeah, I mean, if it's rooted Zelda and they go for that kind of story, then Ocarina seems like a solid bet. That would make sense. What would I pick? I would go for Mario, I think, just after seeing or enjoying Astrobot so much. Kind of feels like I'm still in that platformer mood of like wanting to play something that's a little bit more, not throwaway, but that kind of experience. You know, that's a lot more fun and you're in the moment rather than I'm sitting there thinking about The Last of Us 2 for the next 6 weeks or whatever it might be.
Yeah. Speaking of Astro's Playbot, quickly as well, gents, thoughts on the Astro's Playroom comparison drawn between that and Switch 2 Tour, I think it's called, which seems like a easy pack-in game, and it's actually a paid game. Like people talking about the, I think it might be a tenner, maybe like £8 or something. Yeah. People talking about the greed of Nintendo for the games and the console price. That's one thing. I think this is just undeniable. And the thing is it doesn't make any sense either, because the percentage of people that are going to play it now is like, why not just give it to them for free? Like the amount of money they're going to make from it is not worth like the benefit of having people play it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of like that with 1-2 Switch a little bit, because I thought what I played of it was fine, but it didn't feel like a 40 quid game at all.
Yeah.
It felt like something that should be bundled in. I think,
like Wii Sports.
In your point of Astrobot, the Wii Sports, that another great example, but in terms of like how Astrobot was, or the Playroom was bolted in, like I think we kind of exchanged a couple of thoughts in the WhatsApp group. I said my theory is that it's going to be good because they're charging for it, whereas others were going, no, we actually think it's the other way around, where they're not going to bundle it in because it's not the best.
I actually rate the fact that they, like, that whole thing that was coming out about Reggie was the reason why Wii Sports was packed in, because like Miyamoto or whoever it was at Nintendo was like, no, we want to charge for the games that we've made, or whatever. I actually kind of rate the fact that they were like, no, we've made the game, you're going to, like, we're charging you for the game. I rate it to a point, but like the whole concept of this game is an introduction to the hardware, so to then make people pay for it, it just means that most people aren't going to buy it. So then what's the point?
I love that kind of software as well. Like, it's like whatever you get with a VR headset that is bundled in, that you can give but like even the little, you go down in a shark cage and you can look around in the shark cage on the PSVR, things like that. They're the kind of apps that you get your dad to wear the headset and to look at what's going on in that game and to understand where technology's moved, and like that kind of Wii Sports, no different. You know, that kind of like family kind of feel of like showing off the thing that you've got, your toy. So yeah, I totally agree with you. It's just a bit controversial, which is disappointing. But okay, all right. Well, we're still getting one, which is interesting. Yeah. What would you rate it out of 10 at this point, Carl? In terms of what you've seen?
I'd give it a 9, and I think for me, battery life is the reason why I wouldn't give it a 10.
Yeah,
because I think the battery life's poor. The thing about the previous console, they massively dialed down the APU to deal with the battery life. Maybe they can't do it now because they want extra performance because they want to compete a little bit more. I kind of like that, but I realise I'm gonna have to carry around a big heavy external battery all the time, which I do anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I get your point. Sure, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I like. It says between 2 and 6.5 hours, so it's going to be like 2. And if you're playing Breath of the Wild full HDR, if you're playing Tears of the Kingdom full HDR, like max performance on handheld, it's going to be 3 hours in it, really. Like
that.
Exactly. So, but saying that, I did squirm a little bit of that when I saw that as well. But my Steam Deck, like I've been playing that Lord of the Rings: Return to Moria on Steam Deck quite a bit. Great game, recommend it. Hopefully that comes to Steam Deck, but I'm only getting like 2 hours out of that, to be honest with you, from full charge. So maybe I need to optimize my Steam Deck better. But like,
have you got the cryo tools set up on it?
I don't even know what that is. You want me to put it in the freezer or something like that?
No, it's it's like a set of optimizations that you should have a look at it.
I'll have a look.
Send you
this is the thing. Like, I watch videos on like settings to set. Like, I don't do anything like that. I'll just launch the game, and whatever it is whatever it is. Like, largely, I'll only play games that have at least the question mark like supported, but like HUD and like UI and stuff doesn't work. Obviously, like for instance with Minecraft, I downloaded a mod for Steam Deck support and stuff. But obviously, Minecraft's Minecraft, so it runs really fine. But
you got Decky installed at least.
Decky. For the Switch and for the Steam Deck in general.
Yeah.
No, no.
So Decky is like a suite of plugins you can get. So rather than using the inbuilt verified status, it goes to SteamDB to work out what is realistically playable and not. And it
right, so like
a for it.
And it gives you like a profile of what to set. Yeah, that's a good idea. I need to do that.
Carl is like the boy racers in Southport. You know, equivalent of like neons on the bottom of the car. That's his Steam Deck is like tuned up.
Yeah. If you get the most out of the hardware, then it's good, isn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's definitely worth it.
Just a quick one. We haven't talked about it. What do you think about the actual stand for it with the fan?
The fan part's fine. I was a bit surprised that they didn't advertise second docks as well, because I like the idea of having like 2 docks in the house. So like one upstairs and one downstairs. I'm a 2 dock kind of guy. I like docking. So like not having that option was a bit surprising. I don't like the shape of it. I think the curvature to it's a bit weird. And I don't like how you've got the square kind of, yeah, you've got like the square switch behind it, and then you've got like this kind of like smoother kind of slope.
You're not going to see it.
What do you mean?
You're not
the front of the Steam Deck.
The normal Switch dock look like is just a thing, isn't it? Really. So it's. I mean,
it's horrible. It's not great. It's just and even the logo's shite. That's on the front of it. Yeah. But.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well. That was interesting. And Ethan, thank you for joining us, mate.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, gents. I appreciate.
Anything you want to plug?
No, not really. Have a lovely rest of your week. That's what I want to plug. Hope everyone who wanted to get a Switch managed to get one, and if you didn't, I don't really care because I did. So yeah. Have a great rest of your day, gents, and a lovely week. And thanks again for having me on.
If you haven't got a Switch, follow either the IGN UK deals if you're in the UK, or alternatively, there's an app called Stock Checker, which is pretty good to follow and pretty decent.
I also added, if you're looking at Amazon, I also added the products to my shopping list, and then just periodically checked it that way, just for
that can work.
Like quick speed dial, basically. I had
I
the
thought you were
Switch on
about to
speed
advertise your wish list then. I was like, I've got my wish list on Amazon.
Ducking the plugs.
Yeah.
dial. You can look at my Steam wish list if you want to give me any games, guys. It's Genetic Coyote on Steam.
There we go. Get on it. Anything else? Carl, did I read that right? That Arsenal have beaten Madrid 3-0.
They beat them 3-0, yeah.
Oh my god. And apparently Declan Rice has scored a stonker.
Rice scored 2, Mourinho scored the third.
Mourinho did.
Mourinho.
Yeah.
Jose
If I
Mourinho came on.
speak. Yeah. Yeah.
Kevin De Bruyne, gents, where's he going? Into Miami, yeah. I'm going to Miami.
Bienvenido.
You reckon?
I don't know. I reckon he'll probably go to Saudi.
Surely he's got a couple of years left in him, though.
Yeah, but like...
Go to Miami for the co-sign from
So
David
Wolfsburg
B.
were twerking for him, going like, "You used to play for us. Why don't you come back here?" And, like the admin on their channel was trying to get him over, but
Apparently, there's a thing in America that Inter Miami have got MLS discovery rights on him. So if he wants to go to the MLS, they have to be told first. Which,
discovery rights.
what a bizarre concept.
Well, isn't City paired with New York?
New York, yeah. That's where
That's
Frank
Lampard.
was.
Yeah, Lampard went there and then went to City. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, she babe.
Wait,
Dunno.
so this discovery right thing, is that just like an amount of money that Saudi have given the American League to have that benefit?
Not
Or
sure.
what?
I think it's about the pioneering spirit of the United States of America.
Fair.
Frontierism.
They've just
Do
probably
they-
paid his agent a couple of million quid. That's it.
Do these US tariffs apply to transfer fees for players?
Is that not like slavery? Because then you're not like going, right, Kevin De Bruyne can come over, but he's an extra 10 million quid. And it's like, hold on, like we're paying extra for
Yeah, true. That is
random foreigners now.
I guess I'm looking at it as in you're actually selling the player, but no.
But why would the
it's a
tariff
contract,
apply?
so-
Would it apply to him being from Belgium, or would it apply from him being an asset from the UK?
Would he be a free
Great
agent?
question.
Isn't he going to be a free agent?
That's what I mean. So he's where from? Is it his domicile or is it his place of
Non-dom.
birth?
Oh, he abolished that actually, didn't he?
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah. Can I just ask as well, Carl? Do you think Trent? Do you have the same strong feelings towards Trent leaving Liverpool as a lot of other fans do, or are you a bit more
Great question.
laid back about it?
Great question. I'm not happy with him. I think he can do one.
Swivel.
Dan bought me a T-shirt of the corner taken quickly Origi for Christmas, and I might burn it.
Really?
Yeah,
Spoken about that twice now, so I think he's serious.
Yeah.
I haven't got a
Super
lighter. I
cereal.
don't smoke, but if I did, he'd be gone.
Get on the barbecue. I remember that. Like,
Oh, yeah.
there's always a player or two that does that, and it just reminds you that there's no loyalty anymore in the modern game.
These bitches ain't loyal.
But you guys got to be prepared for a few people leaving.
Well, Salah and Van Dijk have pretty much signed, haven't they?
Have they definitely signed? Are they
I
sorted?
think the noise this week. I think it was Goldstein came out this week and said that they're basically signed.
Okay. Based on where they're up to in their career, is he happy about that? Because it feels like you're keeping them a little bit longer. Like Salah, I can understand. Van Dijk has had a couple of interesting matches this season where he's maybe not
I'm
as
happy.
solid.
Yeah.
Well,
Salah's stats
Salah's
are irreplaceable. So like,
He's
in
better
my
than Hazard.
opinion. But like
Let's look into that.
that Van Dijk, like I'd say Van Dijk's as important as Salah is to the team, if not like, I don't know if this is controversial to say, but
In terms of leadership,
it'd be easier to get a new striker in than it would be. I don't know. Actually, I might be trying absolute wham.
I think it's like if we keep Van Dijk, we re-sign Canate, who wants apparently 150% increase, which I think is fair, to be honest, from 80 to like 200ish, whatever he wants. Like, I'd pay him that. It's you keep Van Dijk, you re-sign Canate, and then you bring in a third centre back, and over time you rotate out Van Dijk. That's just the way you've got to do it. Because
it's what we did with Terry. When we did,
Yeah, but you can't. Terry and Gerrard and like team players like that. But I don't know whether Van Dijk would take being rotated. To be fair, he'd probably take it well, but then at the same time, even if he was like 35 or whatever, like in a few years' time, you'd still want to play every game, really, wouldn't he? But I don't know. Like they rotate the players quite a lot in general. Like they rotate the squad quite a bit, depending on like if it's a cup game and stuff like that. But I don't. Van Dijk doesn't get rotated as much. But
On the
yeah,
plus
but I
side,
guess
slotting
you're right.
the
They
same
could probably
first
do
language.
that, couldn't they? Ain't nobody.
I always
Ain't
thought that
nobody
made a difference
like
with
ain't nobody
Pochettino.
like Joe Gomez makes me happy. Makes me feel this way.
I always thought Pochettino and Enzo speaking the same language would have helped Argentinian, but obviously didn't.
Spanish.
Yeah, I've seen.
Like an American
Specialties.
saying, I speak American, not English.
But that's happened before.
I know.
I've heard that happen.
So if I've heard my American family turn around and say, no, I speak American. I'd be like, no, you don't. You speak English.
Sure about that? All right. Well, that was a pleasure. Ethan, thank you again.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Carl, where can we find you? Apart from street corners.
Yeah, that's it. I don't do social media.
Okay. Anything else, go to casualmode.co.uk. Thank you very much for following and enjoying this video with us.
You're not going to ask
Bye-bye.
Ethan?
Pardon?
You're not going to ask Ethan where we can find him?
Already asked me.
Ethan knows. How about else?
Okay.
Yeah. Ethan, where can we find you?
Adjacent street corners to where Carl frequents.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Got the same pimp.